This travel trailer is the Bontrager 17FD. It has an MSRP of $24,091. The unloaded vehicle weight is 2,180 pounds. It has a cargo carry capacity of 1,126 pounds for an overall gross vehicle weight rating of just 3,306 pounds. The hitch weight is 306 pounds. It measures in at 18 feet even, and it can sleep up to 4 people. The gray tank holds 18 gallons, the black tank holds 17 gallons, and the freshwater tank holds 26 gallons. When you first walk into this travel trailer, on the right-hand side is where your dinette is located. Then we wrap on around through the kitchen area. Bathroom's on my right, and your bed is behind me. Now, our first impression when we walk into this teardrop camper is, I can stand up. This is great, because a lot of teardrops, I'm hunched over and can't really walk around very much. But this one has plenty of room. It's got that iconic teardrop shape, but they really save the dip off the back till pretty far in the back. So you can move around in here very, very comfortably. Also, there's no slide outs, so it's easy to use. You don't have to worry about all the issues that you may face with a slide out on board. And it even has a wet bath. So it's got everything that you need. Could be an awesome couples camper. Even a solo person could camp in here, or a small family could camp in here as well. And we'll kind of show you how all that would work as we make our way through the review. But starting here on my right-hand side in the dinette area, very nicely done. You can seat 4 people in this dinette pretty comfortably. We do have a window on one side here, so you can see out there. There's not a window on the other side. I wish there was. I kind of like having a lot of windows in a camper, especially on the camp side, so you can see out there and see what's going on. But I guess you could just leave the screen door open, or and use that instead. Now, underneath of both of these dinette booths, you can pull up the cushions and access plenty of storage underneath of there. And this tabletop will drop down so that your dinette can convert into a bed. And so if we converted this over, we would end up with a bed that's as wide as the whole camper, and that's going to be 6 feet 6 inches wide, or 78 inches. And then the width on this is going to be, we'll call it 42 inches wide. And so, one adult, maybe a couple of kids would be able to sleep in this area very comfortably. Now, the kitchen area is right next to the dinette, and this is what we call an inline kitchen. All of your kitchen appliances are in a line, and it's a very efficient way to use the space inside of a small teardrop trailer. Starting up top here, we've got our microwave oven, and then we have a couple of cabinet doors that open into one big cabinet here, so you have plenty of space inside of there. Down below that, we have this little countertop area, and then your refrigerator sits underneath of that in this built-in piece of cabinetry. Now, the door opens up. The way it's set right now, the door swings the wrong direction, but you can easily reorient the door so it would swing properly. All these little compact fridges, you can change the hinge to either side. So it's really not a big deal at all. But inside of here, you have plenty of room in here for all of your cold storage for a long weekend. There's no ice trays or anything in here, no freezer section. So if you're like us and you enjoy cocktails every day from 4 to 6 p.m., I would suggest getting an ice maker in here, and you can get a countertop ice maker pretty inexpensively. Set it up and you are good to go for the whole weekend. I wrote a whole article about the best countertop ice makers for RVing, so I'll drop a link to that article in the description down below. Next to the refrigerator here, we do have 2 propane burners in here on the cooktop. Now, these are mounted side by side, and if you guys have seen my videos before, I always advocate that these should be mounted front to back, because if we did that, we'd have some countertop room here in the middle that we could use for other things, maybe a coffee pot, maybe a toaster. But as it is here, we've wasted all the countertop space and we really can't use it for anything. All that being said, you do have a very basic sink in here with a little bit of a gooseneck faucet. There is an outlet here at the end of the counter, so if you do want to plug in anything, at least you have a power source to do that. You could also run your plug from here over to your dinette table if you needed a little extra countertop space, or you could even run something up here on top of the cabinet that the refrigerator is built into. Now, underneath of the cooktop and sink, These two cabinet doors open up and there's a lot of space under there for storage as well. Now there are no drawers in here, but that's okay. You can buy a little clear plastic bin and use that for all of your kitchen utensils to stow them away nice and neat. Now here I am in the very back of this trailer, sitting on the bed that's back here, and plenty of room. I like it a lot. I mean, I have a window on each side of me also, so you can open up the windows, get some nice cross breeze through here. And then over top of me, we have an open shelf for storage. Probably wouldn't work well when you're traveling down the road, but once you get to your campsite, that's a fine spot for some storage items to go. This end of the bed is the head of the bed. There's actually an outlet on the side of the cabinet here, plus a couple of USB ports. So you could put any electronic devices up here, or like I mentioned earlier, if you wanted to put a toaster or coffee pot up here, you could plug it in right here on the side of the cabinet. There's really not a spot for a TV anywhere inside of here, so you could get a little freestanding TV and mount it in here as well if you wanted to do that. I'm really not sure how else you would set that up. The bed itself, let's see what size we're working with here. Now we already know that the width of this trailer is going to be 7.5 or 6.5 feet, and that's what we have here, 6.5 feet. So your depth on this bed is going to be a full 60 inches, and so you could get almost a queen size residential bed in here. It'll be an RV short, but that's okay. You still have plenty of room. Also, these mattresses that come standard in these are just basic 4-inch foam mattresses, so you know, you're probably going to need to upgrade your mattress at some point in here. Now here I am in the bathroom, which is considered a mid-bath in this camper because it's in the middle of the camper. And that's probably a good thing because this is where we have the most ceiling height. So even though I'm in here standing inside the shower, I have to crouch down. You guys know I'm 5'11", I weigh about $190, and I can't stand all the way up in here. I'm hitting my head on the ceiling. So I wish what they had done, instead of putting a light in here, is put a skylight in here, and that would give us extra headroom inside the shower so I could actually stand up. It's really not very fun just being crouched over in here. All that being said, this is also a wet bath location, and so the whole idea of a wet bath is that it's a small bathroom. You save as much space as you can. The toilet is in the shower with you, and so that's kind of how they can save some space in here. The shower itself I really like. It's got a surround in here, a plastic surround that goes around all 3 walls, keeps the water in, very nicely done. I love the fact that they have a retractable shower door here. That way you don't have to have a curtain inside of here with a door where you'd have to close the curtain across the inside of the door to keep water from getting out. This is a much better setup. And you can just leave it closed if you like. You don't even have to leave it open. Just close the door and leave it that way. Also, that's how you would dry it after you take a shower anyway. In front of me here, we have a simple shower wand. And then I think it would be really difficult to even stand up and take a shower in here. I would just sit down on the closed toilet, make it easy on myself, take a shower this way, and it's much easier than trying to crouch down. Now, there's also no place in here for soaps or shampoo or conditioner or any of that stuff. So in our rig, we actually put in a quad liquid soap dispenser. So we have 4 different body soaps, shampoos, conditioners. We just mount that on the wall inside of our shower. It's up and out of the way so you don't bang into it. And when it's travel day, you don't have to gather up all your shampoo and soap bottles and put them all away. They just stay in the dispenser on the wall. I'll put a link to that in the description down below if you want to check that out too. Other than that, let's get some measurements in here. So from the shower floor up into the ceiling, we only have 5 feet 8 inches of headspace. That's why I had to crouch down so much. The depth of the shower is going to come in at 23 inches, and the width is coming in at 30, I'll say 34.5. So not a terrible size. It's just a wet bath, and it's hard to move around in here. As far as the elbow test goes, with the door closed, no way I'm passing an elbow test. Now here we are outside of this camper, and one really nice benefit is that there is a huge pass-through storage area here in the back of the RV. It's underneath of the bed inside, but there's tons of room inside of there, which you normally don't get in a small teardrop camper. A big storage door is on this side, a slightly smaller on the other, but I love the fact that the big door is on the campsite so you can grab your gear and get your site set up very quickly and easily. There's also a shower port on the other side of this rig, so if your wet bath shower is just too small and cramped for you, at least you could set up a little outdoor shower tent, use your outdoor shower port, and be able to shower outside. 3 great reasons to join our private Facebook group called RV Camping for Newbies. Number 1, when you join and share your email address, you'll get a free subscription to RV Today e-magazine. It's full of tips, inspiration, and real stories from real RVers on the road. Number 2, you'll get our weekly newsletters. Our newsletters are full of great RV info, how-to articles, giveaways, and our exclusive video reviews to help you make the most of your RV life. Number 3, you'll be part of our amazing community of over 250,000 RVers. Even though we're called RV Camping for Newbies, this group really is for everyone, and the experienced RVers love helping out the newbies. So we can all join in the group, share our favorite camping spots, gear, and travel tips. So click the QR code on the screen or head down to the link in the description below so you can join RV Camping for Newbies today. We look forward to seeing you inside the group. This travel trailer is the LIV, model number 17FD. LIV stands for Light Innovative Vehicles. It has an MSRP of $26,485, but that is not the sales price. The UVW is 1,750 pounds, the cargo carry capacity is 820 pounds, and the gross vehicle weight rating is 2,990 pounds. The hitch weight is just 234 pounds. It measures in at 18 feet, 5 inches long, and it can sleep up to 4 people. The gray tank capacity is 30 gallons, black tank is 30 gallons, and the fresh water is 20 gallons. When you first walk into this travel trailer, on the right-hand side is where your dinette, microwave, and refrigerator are located. We have a mid-bath here on your right. On your left, we have the kitchen area, and behind me here is where the bedroom is located. Now, our first impression when we walked into this camper is that it's got everything you need for a fun-filled adventure weekend, and it's also a perfect camper for a beginner to get started with. It's small, it's lightweight, there's no slide outs or anything like that, so you won't have those problems to deal with. So it's really a great camper to get started with, or just to enjoy some fun weekends. Now, starting up front here where the dinette area is located, up top here we have a shelf overhead that you can throw some things up here to stow away. I'd probably put some cargo netting in front of this to hold things in place. And underneath it here, there's a light on each end that turns on and off at location. And then this is where your speaker can plug in and charge. You can listen to it here at the dinette, or you can unplug it, just pull it right out, take it outside with you, take it on a hike, whatever you happen to be up to that day. But what a great feature to have that right here charging away for you. The dinette itself is a really unusual shape. I mean, it's this big, not square table. It's got this big curve cut in there, but that's just so that somebody can get into the seat on the other side over there. And I would say that certainly 2 people could sit here very comfortably. I think you could get even 2 people on this side and 1 person on that side. So if you had 3 people in here, you'd be very, very comfortable. Now, underneath of the dinette seating, there's no storage in this unit underneath of these dinette seats, but the dinette itself will break down and convert into a bed. So the table just drops straight down, and then you would lay out all your cushions to cover the tabletop, and that's how you would make your bed in here. And if you did that, you'd have a really big bed because it extends the whole width of the trailer. So you would end up with sleeping space that's about, oh, this tape measure doesn't like me very much today. I will call it 90 inches wide. And then on this end, the wide end, you're looking at about 43 inches. And on the narrow end over here, you're looking at about 36 inches. So it's a bit of an unusual bed, but certainly 1 person would be able to sleep in here very comfortably, and they could be pretty tall too, because, you know, who the heck's 90 inches tall? Now, behind me here is where the microwave is located, right up top here, and so good sized microwave for a smaller camper like this. And then down below that, we've got our freezer
and really nice size fridge in here as well. Now this is a 12-volt fridge and freezer, so it runs off of the battery power. So while you're driving down the road, the battery power keeps your fridge nice and cold. You get to your campsite, you plug in, and then the shore power powers everything up and takes over from there. Just around the corner from that is where your TV is located, and you can pull this out away from the wall and angle it towards the dinette, or you could also angle it over this way so that if you're laying in bed over here and you want to watch TV at night, you can do that as well. So really good placement of the TV in here. I like the location of that a lot. With the kitchen area, we've got, you know, one smaller space up top here for some things to stow away. I was asking Susan, like, you know, there's no oven in here. I don't think you really need a cookie sheet to go in here. What would you store up here? And she thought maybe stuff like, you know, tin foil, baggies, saran wrap, stuff like that could go up here. I think it's a great idea because it's kind of a narrow space. And then next to that, you have a little bit bigger of a storage compartment here, maybe for some of your food items and things. Below this, we have our range hood, which includes a fan and a light. And then we have a nice big window over top of the kitchen sink and cooktop area. Now this also has a nice screen package set in here, so you've got your privacy shade that pulls down from the top, or you've just got your normal sunshade that pulls up from the bottom. And then of course you can open your window, and there's a screen here as well. So even if you don't want any shades at all, you want full sun coming in, you can do that. They give you a lot of options in here. Then you've got your sink and cooktop area. The sink is a good size in here, and it's got a gooseneck faucet overhead, so that's terrific. And then we have a 2-burner stove in here, all propane, so you can cook away with that. The only change I might suggest on this or make to it is, you know, turn the burners front to back instead of side to side, and then that might give you a little bit more countertop space in here in case you want to plug in a coffee pot or toaster while you have things on the stove. You know, I usually am frying up some eggs when I have my coffee pot on, but the way this is set up, you kind of have to put your coffee pot on top of your stove. There's nowhere else to put it. On the side over here is where most of your controls are located, and on the other side of the kitchen sink, there's actually an electrical outlet over here. So if you did want to put a coffee pot or toaster up, you could plug it in from over here. I'd recommend they probably move this outlet to the other side, because you're probably going to have your coffee pot or toaster over here, and you don't want to drag an electrical extension cord across your sink to get to that area. So always something to keep in mind when you're looking at a travel trailer, like, you know, because you're going to make coffee every morning or make some toast. How would I do that? Where am I going to plug it in? What makes sense? So kind of look at those things when you're looking for your new trailer, and it'll help you out. It'll make things more convenient for you. Now down below the cooktop, they do have a nice drawer here for all your kitchen utensils. And then all the Live campers that we've been in come with a fireplace. Now this fireplace may or may not make a whole lot of sense to you, but if the dinette is turned into a bed and you're laying in bed over there, you can see the fireplace. And if you're laying in bed here, you could also mostly see the fireplace. But the other big advantage to these fireplaces that are in here is they do throw out some heat as well. And so for those of you that like to camp in the early spring or late fall, you know, in the shoulder seasons when it's cooler, you'll have a nice heat source in here to keep you nice and warm. Now behind me here is where the bed is located. And up top here, we have a pretty big storage area, but these are really small doors to access this storage area here. So I don't know about you, but I'd have a hard time getting things in and out of here. Like I might only be able to unpack my stuff a few shirts at a time or a few shorts at a time and jam them in there. But you can get it done, I'm sure of that. Now the bed in here, we already know it's going to be 90 inches long because it runs from side to side, just like the dinette did. And then your width in here, it has a skinny end and a fatter end, but on the skinny end, it's about 45 inches. And on this bigger end, you're talking 54 inches. So a little bit of a snug fit for mom and dad to be sleeping over here, but they'll be nice and cozy, cozying up to each other at night. There's also an emergency exit window here in the bedroom area, so if you had to get out, you could. But the emergency window is also functional. So I have it opened right now, so we have a little bit of a cross breeze through here. So that's a really great feature as well. Now, I didn't mention this when I had the kitchen drawer open a minute ago, but I want to show you how this is made because it's representative of how the entire camper is made. This drawer is made of a thermoplastic composite material. It's basically got like cardboard, right? It's got all these little interior cores, and then it gets pressed on each side. And what you end up with is this incredibly rigid board that's very, very difficult to break. It's an incredibly unique process. That's why it's an innovative product, but it's super, super lightweight. And the entire trailer is made of this material. The roof, the walls, and the floor are made of a thicker material, but it's the same thing. And then all the interior walls, interior drawer fronts, interior cabinetry, that's made with some of the thinner plastic composite material. So you end up with a very, very lightweight travel trailer. In fact, this trailer has a gross vehicle weight rating of under 3,000 pounds. So for you folks that have Jeeps or Teslas or maybe smaller SUVs that are looking for a smaller travel trailer that has all the amenities that you want in it, this could be a really good choice because it's so lightweight. It's really incredible. Anyway, just some of the new products that are being used to build travel trailers these days. And one other thing is there's not a single piece of wood in this entire trailer. It's all made of this thermoplastic material, so you can't beat it. Now here I am in the bathroom, and I'm standing in the shower like I usually do for our reviews. And let's get some head height measurements, ceiling height measurements in here. So in the shower up into the skylight, we have 6 feet 3 inches of headspace. The headspace in the entire RV is about 6 feet 4 inches. So for you taller folks, you know, you might be crouching down in here a bit. For all you average height-sized people, you'll be just fine. Now inside the shower, there is a little soap and shampoo shelf here in the corner, which is great. And then you've got your shower wand that you can pull off and use. This does also have a shower curtain, but the shower bar that's in here goes out into the bathroom, so it keeps the shower curtain off you while you're in here taking a shower. So I'm kind of okay with that feature. There's also this kind of built-in area here. Well, remember when we looked at the TV out in the hallway? That's what's on the other side of this little wall. So it does take up a little bit of space inside of your shower. As far as depth and width go, we're looking at about, I would call it about 23 inches. And I'm only going to measure to the back of the TV opening because that's kind of where you are. And that is coming in at about 34 inches. So not the biggest shower in the world, but certainly adequate. And with the shower bar making more room for the shower curtain, I think you would feel comfortable in here taking a shower. The rest of the bathroom is really, you know, very plain Jane. Again, it's a beginner's camper, so there's no sink in here. And we've had many videos where I've asked people's opinions, you know, do you need a sink in the bathroom or not? If this was our camper, we would probably just mount a hand sanitizer thing on the wall. And when you're done using the bathroom, you can put your hand sanitizer on and there you go. Thank you, COVID. But let us know your thoughts in the comments down below if you think it's okay to just have hand sanitizer in here or if you prefer a sink. And I know somebody's going to say, they need a sink because they don't want to brush their teeth in the kitchen sink, and I get that. Other than that, though, you do have a towel ring in here. If this was my camper, I'd probably remove that, you know, put in a medicine cabinet or something in here so we can stow away our personal items and have a mirror. Maybe create another cabinet over top of this wheel well here where I could have some storage here for linens, toilet paper, toilet chemicals, all that. I'd probably just build all that up right here and then use this to my advantage. And I encourage people all the time, don't be afraid to make changes to your RV. You know, customize it, make it your own, make it work for you. You know, that's kind of part of the fun. But so many people are afraid to just drill a single hole or put one screw in, and you don't have to be afraid. You just have to kind of look on the other side and check around and make sure you're not going to hit anything. And for the most part, I think you will be fine. Now, sitting on the commode in here, there's plenty of room straight ahead because I'm looking into the shower. As far as elbow room goes, on my left side, I got plenty of room, but on the right, I'm going to hit the door. So I don't pass the elbow test, but it does feel very, very spacious in here. So here we are outside of this travel trailer, and right outside the door here, there is an outside shower that's available. I don't have the key to it to open it up, but let us know in the comments below about how you like your shower location on the camp side of your trailer. Most of them are on the other side. It's very rare that we find them on the campsite over here. Let us know your thoughts about it, if you like it or not, and why. Most importantly, why you like it or not, in the comments below. We would love to hear from you about that. And then finally, in the back of this camper, this is where the big main bed is. And so you have a lot of storage space under here. It goes all the way to the other side, and it also has a door over there. So it is considered pass-through RV storage, and you can stow away all your camping chairs and your grill and all that good stuff right out here.
This travel trailer is the Safari Condo Alto, model number F1743. It has an MSRP of $42,739. The unloaded vehicle weight is 1,867 pounds. The cargo carry capacity is 1,223 pounds for an overall very light gross vehicle weight rating of 3,090 pounds. The hitch weight is not listed on the manufacturer's website. The length is 17 feet 9 inches long, and it sleeps up to 3 people. The gray tank holds 24 gallons, black tank holds 14 gallons, and the freshwater tank holds 26 gallons.
When you first walk into this teardrop RV, on the right-hand side is your dinette area. Then we wrap on around through the kitchen and bathroom area, and behind me here is the bedroom and living room. Now, our first impression when we checked out this travel trailer is that it's pretty cool. It's huge for a teardrop trailer, first of all. This is more like the size of a travel trailer. The only difference with the teardrops is you lose a little bit of ceiling height in the front and the back because of the classic teardrop shape. But really, there's plenty of room inside of here, and we're very impressed by that. Now, at the front of this camper on my right-hand side, you'll notice the dinette area. We have this really nice, large, oversized window up front. Lets in plenty of light. The window also opens out. It's got a privacy screen and a bug screen, so you can open the window and enjoy some fresh air rolling through here. Also, on each side of the dinette, there are these little porthole windows, round windows here that look pretty cool. Lets in lots of light that way too. The dinette table can easily seat 2 people, and it sits on this little sliding platform here. They have a little bit of a blue cover over it now, but you just use your foot and you hold the table at the same time, and so I can slide it towards me so that Susan can squeeze in on the other end there, and then we can suit the table however we like it to our satisfaction. You can also take this tabletop off of the support pole and drop the table down and make this dinette into a bed. Now, if you were to do that, let's get some quick measurements here. It's the whole entire width of the RV, so it's going to be 81 inches, which is 6 feet 9 inches. And then the depth on this is going to be, I'm just going to measure the pillow, and that's right around 31 inches. So you could definitely get an adult up here. Definitely a kiddo would be no problem either to get a third person in here. Now, before we get started reviewing the kitchen, I did want to point out that there is an outlet underneath of the dinette table. So if you need to plug in your computer while you're working, you've got some power source to be able to do that. Now, the kitchen area here, really nicely done. Up top, we have a nice big storage cabinet here, and I love the doors that they put on here. There's nothing fancy going on. They just slide back and forth. So you don't ever have to worry about them breaking or a hinge getting out of alignment or anything along those lines. They just slide in the track really easily, and it's a really cool setup. And then the way they make the doors stay closed is there's a little Velcro strip right here on the edge of the door. And then inside the frame, the other end of the Velcro is there, so they just Velcro shut, and that way they don't slide open while you're driving down the road. Really cool design. I like it a lot. Next to that, we've got our microwave oven, and then over top of this whole thing, there is a little bit of space up here as well, so you could stow some stuff up there. Probably not in travel mode, but once you get to your campground. Below this countertop, or below this cabinet area, we have a nice big window over top of the countertop. You have a privacy screen and a bug shade or a bug screen that'll come up, so you can open the window and enjoy some fresh air in here. All of your controls are right here as well, so that's a really great central spot for all of that stuff. We do have a nice big round sink here with a flip-up faucet. They have it in airplane mode, so you can stow it away and use this for extra countertop space if you'd like. And then we have a 2-burner propane stove here. I do wish that they would mount the burners front to back instead of side to side, because it would use less countertop space and you'd have more countertop space for other kitchen appliances. But they did make this countertop extend a bit to the right. It sort of overhangs the cabinetry here, and there is an outlet and a 12-volt port under here, so if you do need to plug in a coffee pot or toaster or something like that, you've got the power to do so. And if you even need more countertop space on this end, there is an extend-a-top here, and then there's also an outlet right next to it, so you could set up some kitchen appliances on this end as well. Underneath here of the sink area, we have these shelves that are built in place here, and these are pretty cool because they also slide in and out very, very nicely. There's not a lot of mechanical parts to them. And then underneath of that, we have our kitchen utensils drawer. So everything stows away nice and neat, and it's easy to access everything in there. And then we have this bank of drawers that pull out, and plenty of storage in there as well. Now the rest of the kitchen isn't really attached to the kitchen. It's kind of across from the kitchen, straight in from the entry door. And that's where we're going to find our refrigerator and another cabinet above it. Now the hardware in here is very cool too. I want to point it out. It's got a locking feature, and then you unlock it and then you turn it to get the door to open. So it's a really nicely done hardware setup in here. In this particular cabinet, you've got a couple of adjustable shelves in here, so you can set that up any way you would like. And then down below that, we've got our refrigerator here, which for a mini fridge has a decent amount of space inside of here. And then your freezer is all the way down the bottom. But again, there's plenty of room in here for a bag of ice plus other stuff in your freezer. So here we are all the way in the back of this rig, and this is where your living room and bedroom are located. So it's always set up like this, where you just have a bench on each side. You can recline back here and take it easy. It's got some of these sort of wedge pillows that you can use to relax and lay down and take it easy. Now when it's bedtime, this all converts into one big bed. It's got these couple of cushions that are here, and they have wood inside, or a hard surface inside of them. I don't think they really use any wood in here except for the cabinet fronts. But anyway, you take these pillows, put them in the middle here, and then this creates one big bed. Now if you were to do that, you would end up with a bed that's 60 inches wide, and then it's the whole entire width of the camper, which we already measured, coming in at about 6 feet 9 inches. And so that would give you plenty of room to lay east to west in here, or side to side, and be able to get a comfortable night's sleep. Also, underneath both of the dinette benches, there is storage under there. You can access it from the sliding panels in here, or you can lift the seats up and access underneath of the seats that way to get access to that storage. Up front here, there's like a little empty pocket area, and you can stow away some gear up here as well, or clothes that you're storing away inside your camper. And then they do have one cabinet back here, and it's kind of weird because it takes two hands to open the cabinet, right? With these locks, like they unlock, but then you have to turn them to get them to really open, and you have to turn them both at the same time. So you can't do it with one hand, you know, but you've got a nice big cabinet up here to stow away some of your clothes. Now here I am in the bathroom in this particular travel trailer. This is what's known as a mid-bath, by the way. It's in the middle of the camper, and in a teardrop camper, it makes a lot of sense to put the bathroom in the middle because it gives you the most amount of ceiling height. So when you're taking a shower in here, you don't have to crouch down and everything. You can stand up fully and take a shower. Now, this is a wet bath. What that means is that I'm standing on the shower floor, but so is the toilet. And so when you take a shower in here, the toilet gets all wet. And when you're done, you have to wipe everything off. If you're not parked perfectly level, you could end up with a little bit of water in the floor in here. And you need to dry all that up when you're done taking a shower, so that if you want to come in here and use the bathroom later in the day, you can, and it's not all wet. So that's kind of one of the downsides of a wet bath, is you have to kind of dry it up after you take a shower. The good side, or the positive side, or the advantage of a wet bath is that they take up a lot less space, and in a smaller travel trailer, that's very, very important. All that being said, though, there is plenty of room in here. I mean, you guys can see I'm 5'11", I weigh about $190. Plenty of room in here for me to be able to take a shower. Now, straight ahead of me here, it's kind of a medicine cabinet, right? It's got these nice doors that open, and you can stow away all your personal items. There's also a mirror on the inside of the door here, so that becomes sort of a you know, a medicine cabinet of sorts. I can see myself, but here's where I actually store everything. So that's not bad. In the front corner here in front of me, there's also a sink with a little faucet here. And this is also the same faucet you're going to use for your shower. This just comes on out of here, and then you would use this to shower up and then just put it back in when you're all done. So that's pretty cool. Also in here we have a nice big window. I think it's always nice to have a window in the shower if you can. That way everybody can watch you while you're in here. Just kidding. You just pull down your privacy screen and you are good to go. And the other thing to note is there's a shower curtain that goes in here. So when you're in a wet bath, what happens is they put a shower track all the way around the inside of the bathroom. And then you close the shower curtain all the way around you, because that's what the track is for. And what it does is it keeps water from hitting the window, it keeps water from hitting the door and going out onto the floor inside of the camper. So that's why you have the shower curtain in here. But what I love about this camper is it has this little area here where you can take the shower curtain and tuck it up into here, and that way it's not in the way in the rest of the bathroom. Very often we find these curtains just kind of stuck next to the doorway, and they're just kind of intrusive and in the way all the time. So this is a fantastic design. I really like it a lot. Now when I'm sitting on the commode in here, even with the door closed, it's a big enough bathroom, even though it's a wet bath, that I feel like I have plenty of space. There's no way I'm going to pass the elbow test on either side, but the amount of room in here certainly makes up for that. Now here we are outside of this trailer, and let's talk about some of the storage that you can access from outside. Now like I mentioned inside, I was sitting on the sofas in there, and you can access both of those benches either from the doors underneath, or you can lift the pillows. Well, there's a third way to get to them, and that's through these exterior doors at the back of the camper, one on each side, so you can get underneath of the booth seating and get to your storage items there. Plus at the front of this camper on the other side, there's another small storage compartment there. And there's also a shower port on the other side of this rig. So if you need to wash yourself or your kids or your dogs or whatever you got, you can do that outside of your camper, and it's not on the campsite. Hey guys, let us know which one of these travel trailers you like the most and why in the comments down below. We love hearing from y'all every single week. It's a whole lot of fun for us to go in there and answer all your comments. But if you want to check out even more lightweight compact campers, just click the box down below, and Susan and I will see you in the next video.